Welcome back to yet another episode of Mom Q&A with Mama's Uncut, where we answer your anonymous questions about parenthood, mothering, and relationships. Again, we have Lisa and Mindy. How are you guys?
Hi, everyone.
Great. Hello.
Are you ready to give some advice?
Always.
Let's get to it. All right, ladies, here's a tricky one. Let's say you start dating someone, you like them, and you want to see it out, and it could be fantastic. You've talked about marriage and kids, etc. But then you find out after a month that he has no money, nothing in his savings, a car that needs replaced, and he still lives with his mother. Let's just say you're completely self-sufficient. So you didn't really need his money anyways, but you would want to marry someone, but would you want to marry someone who has nothing, quite literally, and watch them build and push too? Or tell them that you can't marry them until they're able to support you and build a life together for you and your kids. Maybe I needed to add that he's 33 and I'm 29. I have 2 kids on my own, and I just got out of a relationship and trying to settle down and start a family and a life. And I was hoping for the relief of someone else in my life. No bashing, please. This is just simply a question to see how everybody feels.
All right.
No bashing, Lisa. No bashing.
There's no bashing. Like, I have the ultimate in respect for this mom, right? Because she's a young mom. She's got 2 kids and she keeps it together. So like, she's, in my opinion, all good. And I get her, especially at her age, wanting some help and support and doesn't want to be lonely and looking for somebody who's awesome. For me, I don't, and this, like, I'm so adamant about this. I don't need a man, and I never have, to take care of me. But he needs to be able to take care of himself. Mm-hmm. And I think the red flag for me is, I don't know that he can take care of himself. And he might just be moving from one mom to the other. And does she want a 3rd kid? I mean, that's kind of the red flag that's coming up, right? And like, so a conversation could go something like, hey, I very much want to get married to you, but I don't want you to move from your mom's house to my house. I want to see some things happen in the interim, right? And it could be job related. It could be him living on his own and supporting himself. It could be a variety of different things that demonstrate that, he's in this with her. And because again, she's on point. She doesn't need a man to take care of her. It's more of like her getting what she needs in a relationship. But the big red flag for me is she just had another kid.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's interesting because she didn't say that he doesn't have a job. She didn't say that. She just said he doesn't have any money saved, and he lives with his mom. That was probably shocking for her. I don't think money necessarily and what he earns is the issue here. And I don't think bringing it up in that frame will be good for the relationship in the future at all, because maybe she will be the higher earner, and that should be something that's just a given in the relationship. And that's fine. And they can work that out. But I think it's more of motivation and where you want to go together. And I think that's the kind of talk that I would have, is say, what are your goals for the future? Do you imagine yourself living with your mom forever? Like, even if things don't work out with us, what's your plan? Maybe he's living with his mom because it's like who's that guy from SNL? Pete Davidson. He had bought the house for his mom and he lived in the basement, but he actually bought the house because he wanted to, but he lived with his mom. Yeah. So I don't think that it's that kind of a situation, but maybe it is his mom needs support, and so he's there for some reason. I don't really know. But I think of Pete Davidson whenever I hear situations like this now, to try not to be so like, why does he live with his mom?
But that's not how she explained
it. I know.
Like,
she kind of said it sounds like he's kind of not motivated to do very much. And I think that's why you talk with him about, what are your goals? What do you want to do? Because she's an obviously very motivated, driven person who's able to take care of herself and her children and has done well at that. But I think that if you're not matched in a motivation way, I think that the relationship won't work. honestly. I think that that's probably a big enough red flag that I might move on to something else, because that's a value of yours. Like being a hard worker that's a core value of a person. And if the other person is not matched in that, it's going to be constant issues that are driven from that one thing that you're not aligned on.
Yeah, I think one of the things that's missing here is it's been a month that these two people have been together. Now, that's not to say that you can go ahead and get married after a month, but in this case, I would say it's probably not in their best interest. I don't necessarily think that they need to break up. I think especially for her, I think she needs to see, what does this guy do with his time? Yeah. Does he not save money for a very specific reason, or does he not save money because he doesn't have to pay rent? He just like buys all this stuff and like doesn't worry about it because right now he's living a pretty good life. Totally. So I think there's just a lot of details that she needs to see in the next couple of months, and then kind of go from there. Like if you really just see zero motivation in this guy, then it's probably not, you guys aren't going to mesh well. And so I think maybe making these big life decisions after a month. I mean, I struggle with trust issues. So after a month, I'm like, how do you even know this?
Yeah. I know it's the Twitter-pated stage. It's like the most Twitter-pated of the most Twitter-pated stage. Yeah. So they're still running off of those exciting endorphins.
Don't forget to send us over your questions so we can answer them here. Bye.